Somewhere under your boots right now, there's a workforce clocked in around the clock, running the exact same operation as a $12,000 a year fertilizer program. And for the better part of a century, farming has been doing everything it can to kill it. You haven't met most of them yet. One tunnels through more dirt in a single year than a rented excavator could move. Another spins out a network of threads thinner than spider silk and multiplies a plant's root reach by 100 times over. One rips nitrogen straight out of thin air and turns it into fertilizer inside something the size of a pea, a trick the chemical industry needs a billion-dollar plant and blast furnace heat to copy. And one of them, I promise I'm not making this up, gets paid entirely in manure. 6 creatures, all of them already living in your soil, working for free, unless you've been managing them straight into the ground. Every figure in this video comes from university extension research, USDA data, and published soil science. And yes, the exact numbers shift with your soil type and region, but one pattern holds everywhere it's been studied. This workforce gets cheaper every year you keep it alive. Your fertilizer bill never does. Let's meet them, starting underground. The underground plumbers. Earthworms don't look like much, but Charles Darwin spent his final years obsessed with them, and he said flat out that he doubted any other animal had done more to shape the history of the world. He calculated that a single acre of ground gets churned by at least 10 tons of earthworm-moved soil every year. Modern studies have measured that number running even higher. Here's where it gets good. Everything that passes through a worm's body comes out the other end as castings, and those castings are loaded, dramatically richer in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium than the soil around them. Ohio State researchers ran the numbers decades ago and landed on a real dollar figure. A healthy earthworm population is quietly delivering the nutrient equivalent of a full fertilizer application plus lime to balance your soil pH, worth about $35 an acre every single year. And that's before you count the tunnels. Those tunnels don't collapse when the worm moves on. They stay open, running deep into the subsoil, functioning almost exactly like drainage tile, letting water and air move through compacted ground instead of pooling on top of it. Researchers who tried to price that drainage effect alone landed on a number in the thousands of dollars an acre, based on what it would cost to bury that much tile by hand. Add it up, and you've got an unpaid crew of plumbers working around the clock, installing free drainage infrastructure and delivering a fertilizer application on schedule every year. The only thing they ask in return is that you stop poisoning them and stop crushing the ground they live in. Next hire doesn't move soil, it moves information. The phosphorus internet. Phosphorus is one of the strangest nutrients in farming. Most fields actually have plenty of it sitting in the ground. The problem is that phosphorus barely moves through soil. It locks onto soil particles and sits there, sometimes just a few inches from a root that's starving for it and physically can't reach it. That's where mycorrhizal fungi come in. The fungus wraps itself around a plant's roots and sends out threads called hyphae, thinner than a human hair in every direction. Textbook estimates put the increase in effective root reach at 100 times what the root could manage alone, and some researchers have measured networks stretching 1,000 times farther. In a plant running this partnership, as much as 80% of the phosphorus it resorbs is delivered by the fungus, not the root. Farmers who build these networks up over a few seasons are seeing it show up in university and field trials. Reduced tillage, fewer fungicide seed treatments killing the fungus before it starts, and phosphate fertilizer rates coming down by 1/3 to half in the crops that respond to this partnership without giving up yield. The fungus even leaves behind a sticky residue called glomalin that glues soil particles together, which is a big part of why living ground holds together and drains better than dead dirt. Think about what's actually happening below your boots right now. A living network, exchanging sugar the plant makes from sunlight for phosphorus the fungus mined from soil the root can never reach alone. It's not a metaphor, it's an actual biological internet, and it's been running underground since long before there were forests standing on top of it. Quick pause here. If this is changing how you look at a field, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep digging into stuff like this, and there's still 3 more hires to make. Because the next one doesn't just move nutrients around, it manufactures them out of thin air, literally. The free nitrogen factory. Nitrogen is the single biggest fertilizer expense on most farms, and it's the input that's gotten dramatically more expensive over the last few years. But there's a bacteria that's been making its own nitrogen fertilizer since long before humans ever figured out how. Rhizobia bacteria move into the roots of legumes, soybeans, clover, alfalfa, and form small nodules you can actually see if you dig up the plant and look. Inside those nodules, they pull nitrogen gas straight out of the atmosphere and convert it into a form the plant can use, in exchange for a steady meal of sugar. Under ideal conditions, university research puts a soybean crop's own nitrogen fixation at up to 300 pounds per acre. Established alfalfa or clover can run even higher, some university estimates topping 500 pounds an acre in a strong year. Now compare that to the industrial version. The Haber-Bosch process runs at extreme heat and crushing pressure inside a facility that costs billions of dollars to build and operate. Rhizobia run the same basic chemistry at room temperature inside a root nodule roughly the size of a pea for free. With nitrogen running somewhere between 50 and 90 cents a pound this year, that's a couple $100 an acre or more these bacteria are quietly replacing every single season without you writing a check. Here's the catch. Rhizobia only bother doing their job under the right conditions, and heavy synthetic nitrogen makes them lazy. Over-apply it, and the bacteria all but shut down. Because why fix your own nitrogen when there's a free supply already sitting in the soil solution? Same story you just heard with phosphorus. Give biology an easier way out, and it takes it. 3 creatures down, working the soil itself. The next one works somewhere a lot less glamorous. The cleanup crew. Every pile of manure a cow drops onto a pasture is either a fertility deposit or a problem, and which one it becomes depends entirely on whether dung beetles show up. Left alone, a fresh cow patty smothers the grass underneath it. The nitrogen gases off into the air within days, and cattle won't graze anywhere near it. Dung beetles change that fast. A healthy population can bury and shred a fresh pile within 24 hours, working it into something researchers describe as looking like Swiss cheese and driving the nutrients down into the root zone instead of letting them evaporate. The pasture opens back up for grazing almost immediately. A widely cited study out of Cornell, published in 2006, put the value of that service to the American cattle industry at $380 million a year. Adjusted for inflation, that's closer to $660 million today. And that number doesn't even count the bonus most people never expect. By breaking up and burying manure so fast, dung beetles wreck the breeding grounds that horn flies and face flies depend on, with some research showing fly populations dropping by as much as 95% where beetle activity is strong. Fewer flies, less money spent on pest control, calmer, healthier cattle. They're not glamorous. Nobody's ever put a dung beetle on a seed catalog cover, but they're running a full sanitation, fertility, and pest control department, and they show up to work for nothing but the manure itself. Now, the next 2 on this list are small enough that you've probably never seen one, even though you've stood on top of millions of them today. The wild card. Springtails are one of those creatures you'd walk right past 1,000 times and never notice. Barely visible, tiny pale specks that spring away the instant you disturb the soil surface. And they are absolutely everywhere. Researchers have counted up to 400,000 of them in a single square meter of healthy topsoil, meaning a patch of ground you could stand on with both feet might hold more individual animals than live in a small American city. So what do they actually do? Springtails graze on fungi and bacteria and shred up leaf litter and organic debris, speeding up decomposition and getting nutrients back into circulation faster than they'd cycle on their own. I'll be straight with you on this one. Springtails are the hardest of the six to pin down with a clean dollar figure, and I'm not going to invent one just to fill a slide. What the research does show clearly is that their numbers respond fast to how you manage a field. One study found springtail populations jumping 20 times over after a field switched to no-till, and they crash hard under heavy tillage and excess fertilizer. That makes them less of a line item and more of a warning light. When springtail numbers drop, it's often one of the clearest early signs a field's biology is starting to collapse, usually well before it would ever show up in a yield number. Last one on the list, and it might be the biggest surprise in the entire video. The plot twist. Say the word nematode to most farmers and you'll get a wince. A handful of species really do cause damage, soybean cyst nematode being the poster child. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. The overwhelming majority of nematodes living in your soil aren't pests at all. They're grazers, and they're doing something your fertilizer program quietly depends on. These microscopic worms feed on soil bacteria and fungi, and every time they do, they release the nitrogen and other nutrients locked up inside those microbial bodies, in a form the plant can actually use. Researchers estimate beneficial nematodes are responsible for somewhere between 8% and 19% of all the nitrogen mineralization happening in farmed soil. That's not a rounding error. That's a real, measurable slice of a field's nitrogen budget, delivered by an animal most people assume is only there to cause trouble. So next time somebody tells you all nematodes are bad news, tell them the truth. Most of them are on payroll, doing a job that would otherwise fall entirely on a bag of fertilizer. 6 creatures down. Here's the part that actually changes how you should think about all of them. The rays. Every one of these 6 workforces is already living in your soil right now, or it could be for free. The only thing standing between you and their labor is a handful of habits. Excessive tillage tears apart fungal networks and crushes earthworm burrows. Heavy fertilizer use makes rhizobia stop working and gives phosphorus-hungry fungi no reason to partner with the plant at all. Certain pesticides and dewormers wipe out dung beetles, right along with whatever pest they were actually aimed at. This is the part I mentioned at the top. For decades, farming has been quietly killing off the exact workforce that could be doing the job for free. Meanwhile, look at what's happened to the input you're paying for instead. Nitrogen fertilizer that averaged around $650 a ton for over a decade was running north of $1,000 a ton by early this year, an increase of better than 50%, with no real sign that curve bends back down anytime soon. It's tied to natural gas prices, global supply chains, and geopolitics you have zero control over. Your biology doesn't work that way. Once earthworm populations rebuild, once mycorrhizal networks re-establish themselves, once dung beetles move back into a pasture, that workforce doesn't send you an invoice that climbs a little higher every spring. If anything, it gets more productive and more resilient the longer you leave it alone. The workforce gets a raise. The fertilizer bill never gives you one. That's 6 creatures already on the payroll of every healthy acre of farmland in the country, whether you've been managing for them or not. None of them need a raise. None of them are going on strike, and every single one of them works better the less you get in their way. If you want to see exactly how other farmers are rebuilding this workforce field by field, that's exactly the kind of thing this channel covers every week. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet.